So this is a new one. This is a new one, right? This is one I've run into over the last, I don't know, 3 months. And one of the problems that I always had all the time in my agencies. So, how do you arm a producer with going out to the client with more than just a quote? With more than just, hey, I know your business, and hope that their pitch is great. I mean, we used to have these producer pitch contests where the producers would come sit in front of a table. There'd be like 8 of us judging these producers and what they were selling. And until they passed that, they weren't really qualified producers. But they're trying to come up with ways to drive conversation. When I saw Launch, I just thought, man, this thing is a conversation just igniter. It really, really gets a client going. And so, let's talk about what it is, right? The type of technology is a sales process and enablement tool. So it's going to help bring in kind of a standard process for sales, which is always a benefit, right? Anything that can help us grow goes in the kind of higher category. I would rather grow revenue than build efficiencies. You need efficiencies, but I would absolutely probably invest in things faster that's going to grow my revenue. There will be some operational cost to implement this. This is not a tool that you just put in place and it just works like either of the other two that we saw, right? Rocket Referrals or Ascend. Both those, you kind of put them in, you forget about it, you don't have to worry about it, they just work. This one, you're going to have a plan for, because you're going to have people use this tool. And it's going to be producers. Now, I think when your producers see this tool, they're going to be excited about it, because it really, we talk about differentiation all day long. And until you can show that differentiation, it's tough. And this does absolutely give you that differentiation. So who does this touch? Your producers. The hardest folks to find in the organization, the people that probably, if you asked your CEO who we would have 30 more of, it'd be great producers, right? They're tough to find, and they're tough to be successful with. And then it touches clients and prospects. What I just absolutely adore about this is now I'm a producer. I can walk in, I can say, let me run you through our process, the Ryan Deeds insurance agency process that's built out specifically for you, garbage truck, hauler company. And they say, well, everybody, all these agents want to talk to me. He says, look, it's going to take a few minutes. I'm going to give you the result of this thing. You're going to see where you stand, see what your current agent has done. It's really, really slick. And I actually brought more, and it does. Everybody's trying to become a trusted advisor, right? that's what we all want. We don't want to I can't imagine if you're in Insight Group that you are just a quoter. You're not just out there throwing quotes out. You're trying to find businesses that align with your values. You're trying to find businesses that value insurance as a tool, and you're trying to educate them on how to leverage that tool more effectively. And I believe this absolutely does this. And I think using this effectively will increase your validation of your producers rapidly. And we're going to take a look at it. So I don't know if you can see this very well. Oops, go back. But on the right-hand side, what they've done is they've put any of the executives in the company gets this, and they get to organize and prioritize what are the main challenges that they have from an insurance perspective. And what this will do, again, we're thinking about conversation starters, right? If we can get to this point where we're talking, the client's working with us on this, we're going to have so much meat to talk about. What are the main issues? Is it benefits? Is it insurance? Is it perpetuation? And if there's a lack of alignment, now we have another conversation that we can have. And there's this whole process that Launch walks you through, asks all these questions, has all this kind of templated stuff out there. And ultimately what it does is it gets you to here, right? The client works through this. Once they've worked through this, they're then able to get a score. So when I think about the wedge that you can leverage here, right? Like you come in, they have a low score. They've been with this agent for 20 years, because ultimately they have to fire their agent. We have to give them a good reason to fire their agent. And if their score is relatively low across the board, or even if it's midline, this is going to be a new process, something that they've never seen before. I think I definitely think you should take a deeper look at launch. I think it's one of those things you've got to figure out, how do you get it into the organization? And again, when we look at the cost of this thing, right, it's $5,000. So $5,000, you close one client with this, it's amazing. I also think for those folks that are really looking at targeted clients, this will absolutely help you pre-qualify. If a client walks through this with you, goes through this process with you, through your risk management assessment process, whatever branding you want to put on it, you know that they're probably a good fit for your firm. And if they don't, then you're probably like, oh, well, you don't value insurance right now. However you want to shape that messaging, but you could just say, hey, you know what? Hit us up if you ever want to go through this. We'd love to work on this with you. But now you're not just somebody who values cost, right? Because they're going to leave you for price if you sell them on price. And I don't think any of the agencies in this room are probably about that. They're way more about the value.